All right, guys, we're back with top four Edison Format, Epic Cards and Games in Hurst, Texas. We got David Provonsil on the left playing Machina gadgets, and Donnell D Nasty on the right playing Vayu Turbo. So it looks like David's going first. Opens Gear Frame, searches Fortress, and let's see what else does he got. Sets two, passes. So this is the first time Donnell's played Vayu Turbo, so I don't know how familiar he is with this deck. So here, David opens Dust Shoot. So the hand is Raikou, Caius, Allure, Bottomless, Compulse. Deck Dev. Deck Dev in the main deck. I've seen a lot of Vayu Turbo players starting to main deck this. So this is a tough situation. Do you want to protect your back row or do you want to make Donnell's hand dead? So I can see that's why you can tell David's really, really thinking about it. So he chooses to go with the Raikou. I think I would have went with the Allure based on this hand. That way, like, I know all of Donnell's cards. Yeah, I know all his cards, so I don't have to work. Yeah, the only thing but see, now we don't know the two cards Donnell's drawing, and he's most likely going to banish the Caius here. One of my friends, Prince, was telling me he doesn't like Allure because he says you want to keep. He doesn't like it in Black Wings because he wants to keep all his Black Wings, which I can see the argument. Sometimes I don't want to activate Allure in Vayu either. Like I'll have like a Greffer and no other darks, and I'm kind of like, or an Armageddon Knight. I'm like, I don't even want to activate this Allure. So I can see the argument. Anyway, Donnell sets. I wonder if he set the Raikou or now 3. Okay. So let's see. David has Fortress in hand. So he attacks, and Donnell activates Deck Dev. So he drew a Sirocco, and David's hand is dead. David's hand is double D Prison. I think Machina Force and Machina Fortress. And MST, that's his hand. So we know Donnell still got the Raikou. So now the only... No, sorry, he does not have Raikou. No, he does not have Raikou because David sent it back. So how many cards are in Donnell's hand? So that was turn 1 on the deck dev, or they took the dice off of it. So we know one of the cards Donnell drew off the Allure, which was the Sirocco. And David reveals another Fortress. So what back rows do we know Donnell has? Bottomless and Compulse, right? So maybe he set one of... He probably definitely set the Bottomless. Maybe he kept the Compulse in his hand if he drew another trap card. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. So here, David summons the Fortress. So David's already predicting a Bottomless. He's like, yeah, hurry up and just activate the Bottomless. And Donnell does. All right. Now Force... Pitch Force to bring back the Fortress. And it looks like Donnell drew into Hamster. Okay, grabs Raikou. Now David chooses to attack with... Put back the Hamster. Ooh, I don't know if I agree with this one. I don't know. The Force is gone. I probably would have went with the Fortress. So now that causes a replay, and then the Raikou is going to hit. So Donnell's going to choose one of the back rows. Uh-oh. So he hits Donnell. Not Donnell's. David's MST, and then Donnell most Compulse, Armageddon, Mystical Space Typhoon. So we know one of the cards in Donnell's hand's Hamster. How good is Deck Dev in against gadgets? I guess you hit the only cards you hit in David's deck are the gadgets. You're not gonna hit Fortress or Force or Gear Frame. So I don't. This is why I don't like. I don't agree with main deck and Deck Dev and Vayu. I know there's people who've been successful with it, but me, in my opinion, I feel like that's a side card. I don't like it in the main. I only like it if it's a blowout against certain decks. That's why I prefer it in the side deck. Anyway, David reveals Torrential. So David decides to attack with with Fortress. And it's the Hamster that Donnell set, so that he compulsed the turn before. Maybe Donnell had no monster, so that's why he chose to compulse the Hamster. And here comes Raikou. Donnell chooses and gets rid of one of the D prisons and mills Sirocco, Hamster, and Greffer. So David has a D prison set. Did David draw all 3 D prisons? I think he did. Oh yeah, he's got double D prison in hand. So David's probably gonna set the torrential here, which I like, and then equip. Yes, I mean he knows you have the torrential. So if Donnell does anything, you can just torrential protect your gear frame. One thing I will say, I don't like people playing triple D prison and a mirror force because it can get kind of coggy. Like you see here at David's hand, he opened all 3 D prisons. It's gonna happen occasionally. That's why I prefer like 2 D prison, 1 mirror force. I think that's like the best ratio. Because then this doesn't happen as often where you open like two of the cards that do the similar things. That's why you see some people like to play like 1D prison. Like my friend Lou, he won the Winamat with zombies. He's playing like 1 compulse, 1 bottomless, 1D prison for the variant. So anyway, let's see what David's gonna do. What did he draw for his turn? Oh, he drew gear frame. What a draw. And I think Donnell's thinking. Yeah, and he's got 2 cards in hand. Okay, so Donnell, this is fine. If I'm David, I'm perfectly fine. I still get a gear frame search, and I protect my fortress. And he swings for 25. So we have Donnell at 37 to David's 8K. Now David sets the second D prison. So he's got Torrential, D prison, Fortress. So who's going to make it to the finals, David or Donnell? David's got 1 win on the channel, but like quite a few second places. What's crazy about David is his win rate at my locals is insane. Like he doesn't show up as often as some of the others. When he does make it, somehow he always makes it to the finals. The only time I remember that he didn't make it to the finals was when he got 9th. There was one other time he made top 8, but like his win rate is just really excellent. So shout out to him. And Donnell, he's got the 3rd most wins on the channel. If you guys are wondering, I have a playlist for finals for Edison. I also include the Tengu finals in there, but for Tengu you have to go check out the Tengu playlist if you guys care about Tengu format. Anyway, so once Donnell's play, I think Donnell's in a really bad spot. Like Vayu Sirocco here. You make a 6, which does nothing. Unless you have Caius in hand. Or, like, okay, you're going to top for Plague. And do you make a Goyo? Do you make a Goyo? Like, David's hand is like Prison, Torrential. I really don't see how Donnell gets out of this. Like, what does Stardust do? Stardust does nothing. Thought Ruler is okay, but he's just going to pop your Thought Ruler. He might Torrential you if you go for Thought Ruler. Or you can go Colossal Defense, but then he's going to Torrential you. Yeah, so this kind of just... In this scenario, David kind of... Oh, he slams down the gadget. This is game. He knows it's game, yeah. Attack for 14, and then 25 is game. It didn't matter. Donnell was cooked that game. So game 2, Donnell's going first. Why is Donnell reading Armageddon Knight? Oh, Donnell's got Hamster, Armageddon Knight. He's going to set Armageddon Knight. Oh, wow. Okay, so the reason I think Donnell did this is because he's trying to bait out a Nobleman, a cross out. That's the only thing. It's risky, though. So I think he set like D Prison Nobleman. So if David... Oh, that's why he was reading it. He was reading Armageddon Knight to see if it gets its effect when it's flip summoned. I think Armageddon says whenever it's summoned. Now, this is bad because you had to de-prison a gear frame. So it might have not been worth it, man. Yeah, it might not have been worth it. Just to try and bait out a Nobleman, which you don't even know if David's going to side it in. So yeah, David's reading it too. Yeah, he gets it on the flip summon. And now Armageddon's effect. Donnell chooses to send Necro. I almost never send Necro. I might even cut that card. It does. It's not a bad card, but it's just I don't know. I've been thinking about cutting it just to make room. All right, so Donnell sets a monster, sets a back row. Probably finally set the hamster now. And David summons Yellow Gadget. Is he gonna drop a fortress into? No, I don't think you want to. But what if Donnell said hamster? I think maybe can. No, I don't think it's worth. Never mind. Never mind. No, because then you lose your gadget access. So this is not a bad play by David, but the only thing, yeah, here Donnell had the hamster. This sucks. I think David had no other choice. Maybe the only thing David could have done was maybe not attack. That was another play David could have maybe made. But I think dropping the fortress was not worth it because then like if he has bottomless or deep prison or anything, like you just lose your fortress and your gadget, and then you don't have another normal summon. It's just unfortunate, but all right. Let's see what Donnell does now. Does he flip the Raikou? I think he's not gonna flip the Raikou because he's gonna think David didn't set anything that would get popped by Raikou. So sometimes these are where the mind games come in. Maybe David is like, okay, I'm gonna set this because I don't think Donnell's gonna flip it. Sometimes you just gotta take those risks, and it wins games. Oh, I've seen it happen a lot, where David will be like, okay, I don't think Donnell is gonna flip the Raikou and pop my back row. All right, so he summons Armageddon, sends Plague. I'm pretty sure David set the compulse because his game plan was probably to compulse the gadget if Donnell flipped the Raikou. I think that was David's plan, so I'm almost positive he said compulse. Okay, now David gets Gear Frame, searches Fortress. So Donnell's got Raikou, and I think now will David commit and drop the Fortress? Yeah, because he's got two in hand, right? Yeah, he's got two. I'm pretty sure. So now he's gonna commit to dropping the Fortress. Yes. Does Donnell got Bottomless? You have Bottomless, Donnell? He's thinking a lot. Okay. He's tapping his finger. So David runs over the hamster. Now he's probably gonna attack over Armageddon. And it's up to Donnell if he wants to protect it. It depends. Are you gonna use Armageddon to synchro into something next turn? Maybe you should have protected it. And like now David's got two back rows. All right, 72, 76. Plague, Necro, Engrave. So Donnell's really at not. Is he not going to flip that Raikou? So he chooses not to flip the Raikou. He's got two back rows. What's David's hand? Looks like his David's hand is a Mirror Force. Mirror Force. Is it Mirror Force double D prison in hand? Okay, so he's got a D prison in the grave. How does he have? Oh wow. So I talked about this earlier with the ratio between one Mirror Force and two D prison. I think David drew all four. So if you guys are deck building, maybe you shouldn't play 3D prison and Mirror Force. I don't know who popularized it. Someone online popularized the triple D prison and one Mirror Force. I don't know who it was. I think it was Black Wings like a year ago or something. Anyway, Donnell Raikos gets rid of David's Compulse. Okay, so he hadn't attacked with Fortress yet. So he knew that one was Raikou, so he probably attacked with Green Gadget. And if it is okay, so Donnell's probably trying to protect the hamster there. Yeah, David drew. I'm pretty sure he drew all 3 D prisons and the Mirror Force. 2 games in a row. That's crazy. I've never been a fan of triple D prisons. I like 2 and 1 Mirror Force. Sometimes I'll side out Mirror Force in certain matchups. If I see like my opponent plays like is gonna side in like my body and play if they main deck Starlight Road, I sometimes will take out the Mirror Force. Or if they play a lot of floaters. Okay, so Donnell used the Necro and he's got Plague in the grave still. I wonder what's the first back row David set. Here, I'm pretty sure David set the D prison since he has 2 in hand. Alright, Donnell gets Rhoda. So either Greffer or Armageddon Knight. Yeah, that's why he's skimming his grave. Or scanning his grave. So he chooses Greffer. Yeah, Greffer. They both. So what's Donnell thinking? Oh my god. See, this is one of those times Donnell takes forever. Look at this. But sometimes I'm gonna have to defend Donnell because the yesterday I played in a Winamat tournament, 32 players single limb Winamat, and when I was playing in the finals, there was one time when I played really slow, and Lou, shout out to him, he ended up winning the tournament, the Winamat. He won in time, but I couldn't even blame him because I played a little slow at times, so it happens, especially when you're like closer to like when you're like top 4 and finals. It's a lot more pressure. All right, so here, and it's not an easy situation that Donnell is in. Like he's staring down Fortress, 2 back rows. So David chains the Compose to the brain control so he can keep his Fortress. Maybe he was reading Donnell was going to tribute it for Caius. What are they arguing about? Green Gadget? What the heck? He searches Raikou. What else does Donnell have? Is Caius coming down? Oh, it is Caius. Okay, so good read on David's part, predicting a Caius. So he's gonna let me get my Fortress out of here, so you don't tribute it for Caius. All right, so what are you gonna go for? The back row or sometimes you gotta go for the back rows at times, man. I know you're scared. Okay, so oh no, he got bottomless. Ah, poor Donnell. I feel bad for him now. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. So David still got the double D prison and Mirror Force. Those are the last cards in his hand, right? David's got Red Gadget. Ooh, David cited Transmigration Prophecy. And I think Triple Compulse. Ooh. Against Vayu. Yeah, triple Compulse, not DD Crow. Oh, David's got Smashing Ground too. So he attacks Raikou, and Donnell pops the Green Gadget. Mills Cyber Dragon, Card Trooper. And hits Donnell for 13. So we're at 72 to 55. David's got a bunch of cards in hand. Checking them. I don't just see Donnell's grave. So D Prison. So he keeps the Mirror Force in hand. Greffer. Pitch Gale. Oh, that sucks. So he's gonna send Vayu here. This is a game Donnell just didn't mill any Vayus. I'm a big fan of Charge of the Light Brigade in Vayu Turbo. I like Charge more than Hamster because it's a spell card. Sometimes and you just get a free mill. You mill a Sirocco, you mill a Vayu, and then it just opens up a lot of stuff. So yeah, I like Charge. Okay, so Donnell's checking his grave, seeing what's gone. Double compulse, 1D prison. Maybe David didn't draw. Maybe he didn't open triple D prison. Maybe he only opened two. Sometimes I can't tell like their what cards are in their hand. Maybe it was a bottomless, and I thought it was double D prison, or sorry, triple D prison. So Donnell brings out Armed Wing here. So he's got Armed Wing and Greffer, and David's got a D prison. So David takes the 400, and David's probably maybe he'll D prison here. Yeah. So now Donnell needs like Burial or Return down there. I think David just drew Transmigration Prophecy. So yellow gadget. Grab green gadget. So David does have Smashing Ground that he can use right now. And so here comes the prison. I wonder if David's going to use the Smashing Ground here, or is he going to hold it? Unless do you care about Donnell drawing a dark? Let's see. So David is like, nah, I don't care if you draw dark, so I'm just going to leave it up. Maybe David's checking his grave to see how many darks he has in case, Dark Arm. You always got to worry about Dark Arm. Because Vayu, I feel like Dark Arm is the best in Vayu Turbo. So yesterday, again, I'm talking about myself, but when I played in the Winamax in the finals, and I dropped Dark Arm. I was playing Vayu, and I dropped Dark Arm against Lou. Game 2, he torrentials, and I chain compulse, put the Dark Arm back in my hand, and just special summon the Dark Arm again. That was crazy. Anyway, Donnell gets Mirror Forced. Oof. Normal summons Greffer and passes. And David summons Green Gadget. Adds red. Smashes the Greffer. Attacks for 26. So Donnell's at 29. He's just out of resources. He's got one back row and one card in hand. What's his last card? Oh, it's a dead Dark Arm. Oh, he had Oppression. Ooh, do I like Oppression against gadgets? It might not be worth it. You only stop Fortress. It might not be worth it. Anyways, David's going to another finals, like I said earlier. Somehow this guy shows up to locals and just makes it all the way to the finals. We'll see if he can get a second win on the channel. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.